Hello. The purpose of this video is to help you, the student, understand what the experience of writing an AP exam is going to be like. If, beyond looking at this video, you have any other questions or things you want to check, certainly you can contact me, but first I'd suggest you visit the website bit.ly/AOLAP. That's the website I've got that's just AP stuff. Also, check out the AP Google Classroom that I've set up that you've already been added to. But then if there is something else, certainly email me or send me a Teams message directly and I will try to help you out. So let's jump into things. First of all, talking about the stuff you need to consider before exam day. The first and most important thing by far is making sure you can sign into your College Board account from memory. So this is not your login that you use to sign into Chromebooks normally at school. It has nothing to do with ECSD. This is the one that you created so that you could actually join up with the AP class that you're in. It's the one where you had to put in a whole bunch of information about your name and address and things like your parents' educational background and all that I said the College Board wants to know for statistical purposes. Best way for you to check this is go to myap.collegeboard.org and just try to sign into your account from there. Your email should be a personal email that you're using as your login name, because you do want to have access to this beyond when you've graduated from high school, and then your password. Now, if you originally set this up with just Google Chrome inputting it automatically for you, for example, it's just going to be random letters and numbers and symbols. You need to get on that website, log in, and then change your password. Change it to something memorable so that you can just sit down and type it in from memory. Because remember, on the day of your exam, you are not allowed to look it up on your phone. In fact, following College Board policy, if you can't sign into your account from memory when you get into the exam room, we actually have to take you out of the room. And no, it's not so you can go look it up and come back in. You're ejected from the exam because we start the process of getting everybody logged in, and then we're doing instructions. And this is not like a diploma or a CSA where you can show up 40 minutes late or something. No, the College Board rules are very strict on this. They see that as a disturbance to the other people writing, so you won't be allowed to come back in. So please make sure that you take care of this in advance. Now, for things that you're allowed to bring in, obviously you have to have valid picture ID. That is like every final exam that you write. Your school ID is fine. You can also bring in a driver's license or a passport though, but that's kind of overkill. You can have non-mechanical pencils and an eraser. Notice I said non-mechanical pencils. That is, again, a strict College Board policy. You can have pens with black or dark blue ink. And if your exam allows it, like chemistry or statistics, you can have a calculator. And for physics, you can have a ruler. But that's it. The College Board is super strict on you basically not being allowed to bring in anything else. And people say, well, of course they don't mean. Oh yeah, the College Board means you're not bringing in anything else. So no electronic equipment, things like phones and smartwatches, anything else that's basically running on a battery, nope, it's not allowed in the room with you. Any sort of books or compasses, protractors, stuff like that. Mechanical pencils, they are not allowed. Whiteout or those sort of tape ones that you drag across the page to get rid of mistakes. Nope, none of that. No dictionaries or thesauruses. No highlighters, no colored pencils, no pencil sharpeners. We will have pencil sharpeners. You cannot bring in your own. You can't have any sort of paper you bring in for rough work. We will supply that to you. You can't have watches that beep. And here's the crazy thing. You say, oh, but I turned off the alarms. Nope, doesn't matter. If it can beep, it's not allowed. So just don't wear a watch. No computers or calculators that are not approved. I'm going to tell you the vast majority of calculators are approved. They just have these rules about things that have like QWERTY keyboards, or they can do infrared communication. Trust me, 99% of the calculators out there are just fine, and you can always check with me if you're not sure. No earplugs. People say, but I need those because I get distracted by noises. Sorry, that's actually considered an accommodation by the College Board. You can't have earplugs. You can't bring in any sort of food or drink, nothing at all. We'll get to stuff about the break, and I'll tell you some stuff there, and no clipboards. Please understand, this stuff just simply isn't allowed, and if in the middle of the test you suddenly pull out a highlighter and start trying to highlight things, we have to report that to the College Board, and you can get a 0 simply by doing that. So please don't. Now, for the exam schedule, I would suggest you either check bit.ly/AOL-AP or the AP exam Google Classroom I set up. All of the dates and times are there. Now, the part you do have to understand that's really special is for the morning exams, we are expected to start as close to 8 a.m. as possible. So that means we need you in the room, sitting down, logging into Blue Book, and starting to listen to the initial instructions before 8 a.m. That's why we require you for morning exams to arrive by 7:45 a.m. at the latest. I know that sounds really early, but that's the policy. And so we have to abide by it. We're going to be getting you all in there, sitting down in your seats, and then you're logging in right away. You're not waiting. And we're getting you through that process. So as close to 8 a.m. as possible is when you're actually entering in the start codes. If you're doing an afternoon exam, since we have to start by 12 p.m., 12 noon, that's why we want you in the room by 11:45. And yeah, I know some of you might have morning classes. Your teachers will understand. You tell them you're leaving to write a AP exam. You leave by about 11:30 so that you can drop off your books and stuff. The other thing to consider with the afternoon exams is that because of the length of them, they take till about 3:30 p.m. So if you normally have somebody pick you up for a ride, or you have work shifts, or you're involved in some after-school sport, you have to let those people know, your friends, your parents, your boss at work, your coach, because there is no early dismissal. It's not like you're done the exam and you leave. Everyone has to stay till the end. Again, this is College Board policy, so just make sure that they understand you're going to be there till about 3:30. That's why we want to get you going as quick as possible so that everybody gets to leave as soon as possible. And again, I emphasize again, there is simply no late entry for any of the exams. So if you have one of those morning or afternoon exams, you're not showing up half an hour late and saying, oh, well, they'll still let me in. Nope, you're simply not coming in. You're not writing the exam. Now, about where the exams are happening, almost all of them are happening in the assessment center, which is at the back of the Success Center. So you'll come in there and you'll head straight to the back. I know some people call it study hall, whatever. That's where we're going to be. The exception to this is psychology, because there's so many people writing. We're going to be doing it in the hub, and we actually have a altered schedule for that day to try to make it easier for us to get everybody into the hub in time. If you have an accommodation, or if you have already in advance made special some sort of, because of whatever circumstances you're in, you've made already the special case to Mr. Klimperg, me, that you needed late testing, and we already have you registered for that, you're in a different room. So please come and check with me about that. There's going to be special rooms for those. Now, on exam day, obviously, again, you're arriving on time, approximately 15 minutes before your exam time. You can even show up a little bit earlier. By that point, you've already gone to your locker and you've left everything in your locker. We will have limited space for collecting electronic devices like cell phones, but simply we do not want them in the room. I got to tell you that you got to understand this. We don't want them in the room because people will say, oh, I put it in silent. Nope, not good enough. It has to be turned off. Oh, I turned it off. And then we find out people didn't. I've had bags at the front of the room start buzzing and stuff. I just toss them out of the room, honestly, because even then I have to report that there was a disturbance, that a bag started buzzing, and I don't want your bag out of the room. And I'm not going to be held responsible for the fact that you forgot to turn that off. Okay? Then when you get into the room, you're going to find your seat. You can't just sit wherever you want. There is assigned seating. You're going to take your ID, whether it's your school ID or your passport or whatever. You're going to put it on the corner of your desk and you're going to leave it there for the entire exam. You're then going to follow the proctor's instructions for signing into Blue Book and starting the process of getting into the exam. Hey, at this point, I think it's also a good thing to remind you that you can and should be trying Blue Book at home. You can download it on a Windows or Mac computer. You can't install it on a phone, and you can't install it on personal Chromebooks. So if you have a Windows or Mac machine at home, install it by going to the big giant site that I've got there for you. You could scan the QR code with your phone and then copy that link over to a desktop if you have that ability. But install it and try it, because you can even at the very least just try out sort of the mini demo versions they've got of your exam, just to see roughly what it's going to look like, get an idea of what that experience is going to be. Now, break time. When you write your exam, you start with the multiple choice. There's going to be a 10-minute break, and then you do the written response stuff. And sometimes even within those sections, there's going to be different parts kind of broken up. But for every test, it's first half, 10-minute break, second half, basically. Now, this is the part that's a little bit weird for people to understand. And I know even I kind of thought it was a little bit weird when I first heard about it. Everybody is going to be entering their start code at slightly different moments. And that's when the clock starts ticking for you on your device. Everybody gets exactly the same amount of time, but since you're beginning ever so slightly out of sync, everybody gets the time from when they entered their code. Honestly, the way this was explained to me by the College Board folks, it's so that with everybody coming in at slightly different times, it doesn't overload networks, so that it doesn't screw up the start of the exam from the College Board side of things. So when your 10-minute break begins, you quietly get up and leave the room. Just outside of the room, there's going to be some snacks and water that I have supplied for you. You take one snack, one water, and you stay out of the room and you eat your snack and you drink your water quietly. I cannot emphasize this enough, because there's still going to be other people testing in the testing room. When your break is done, 10 minutes have gone past, you go back into the room. And it doesn't have to be like down to the second, but as soon as your 10-minute break is done, your Chromebook is going to basically say, hey, ready to resume. You go back in, you start the next part of the test, even though there might have been other people that came out to start their break after you. You're not waiting for them. You're going back in and you're starting your test, which is again why everybody has to be quiet, because other people are going back in and they're starting the second part of the test. Again, just so the whole server thing doesn't overload on the College Board side. Now, people will also ask, hey, what about bathroom breaks? Like just in the middle of the multiple choice, I have to go to the bathroom. Sure, you can do that. Put up your hand, get the proctor to come over and they'll show you how to click in the top right-hand corner. There's a drop-down menu where you can click unscheduled break, and it basically blanks out your screen with just a button that says like resume, and that's when you can get up and leave and go to the bathroom. For God's sakes though, please never at any point during the entire testing process, including your break, you never close the lid on your Chromebook. That is one of the few ways that you can actually screw up this process. When you go to the bathroom, your screen will be blanked out because you chose unscheduled break. You leave the Chromebook open and you go to the bathroom, you come back, and you sit down and you click resume. Now, the thing you do have to remember is you saying that you have to go to the bathroom does not stop the timer on your exam. So for goodness sakes, be quick, come back, and click that resume button so you can get going again, because you are losing time during bathroom breaks. Now, what if there is a tech issue while you're writing the test? I understand this can worry people because you know there is the possibility this can happen. So what if Blue Book just locks up, or your screen goes all crazy, or your keyboard or mouse don't seem to be acting the way they should? Again, you never, ever close the Chromebook or say, oh, I'm just going to exit this or something. No, instead, again, you put up your hand, proctor comes over. They're going to take a look at it first. Don't do anything, just wait for them to come over and look at it. What's probably going to happen, as long as the proctor thinks that everything is okay, is they're going to first just try to restart your Chromebook and see if that's okay. Or if things seem to be really freaking out with your Chromebook, or it's like battery has just gone completely dead or something, we're just going to give you a brand new Chromebook and you'll sign in again. Everything while you're doing these AP exams is saved to the cloud. So even if things are totally freaking out like that, everything is fine. And even if the internet itself goes down during the test, you actually only need internet at the very beginning and the very end. At the very beginning, because it downloads your whole exam, and at the very end, when it uploads your exam. And if the internet's gone down, we're going to take care of that, because we actually have up to 4 days after the exam is done to upload your work. So don't worry, all of this has been thought through and there is a process that we will follow. So, ending the exam? Well, just like everybody started at slightly different times, had breaks at slightly different times, you're all going to end at slightly different times. And honestly, it really should just be a couple few minutes difference. It's not going to be like hours or something. But when you get to the end of your exam, and it's actually going to have a countdown timer on it, which you can hide up until the last 5 minutes of the test, when it automatically shows it and you can't hide it. But after the countdown timer has hit 0, it's going to go through the process of telling you that, hey, we're submitting your test to the College Board, your time is done, and you're finished. You're going to get what they call the confetti screen. And so that's what that picture looks like. At this point, you still do not close your device. You don't exit Blue Book. You don't do anything. You just sit there looking at this screen, because on our side as proctors, we're going to be looking to make sure that everybody's Chromebook is basically sending the signal to the College Board of, yep, we're done. As long as everybody is seeing that and everything is good, we reach the stage where everybody is finished, even if you have to sit there for a couple of minutes and wait while other people are getting their clocks running down to 0. And then we will give you your final instructions, and it is only when you are dismissed that you're allowed to go. So remember, there's no, oh, I'm done the exam, and it only took me an hour to finish that last part, and now I'm leaving. Nope, you have to sit there and wait until the entire class is finished. This is part of College Board's security policy. It has, again, nothing to do with us. This is just the way they do AP exams. When you are dismissed, Everything's going to be great. If you're doing the afternoon exam, remember it's going to be maybe around 3:30ish. If it's a morning exam, it's going to be about 11:30ish, and you'll still go to your afternoon classes. But with all of that stuff done, one last thing that you do need to remember to do, and you can actually do it right now even if you want, is before June 20th, you have to sign into the College Board website and select the post-secondary institution that you want your transcript sent to. You only get one free copy sent, technically per year, because if you're in grade 11 right now and you're doing AP stuff next year, they'll send another one. But most colleges only do keep your transcript from the College Board for 1 year. But you get that free copy sent. That's your mark. Don't worry. I know sometimes people get freaked out because they say, but what if I did badly on the test? The U of A is going to see that I did badly. No, remember, they never hold a bad mark, a low mark against you. They're basically just looking at it. Did you get one of the high marks? Does that put you in line for some scholarship money? Does that mean that you have the possibility of getting credit? But there's never ever, oh, you got a 2 and that's horrible and it's held against you. The universities love that you tried to do an AP exam, because even if you didn't do as well as you could have maybe, they know that you're still better prepared than anybody. If you do need additional copies sent to any other universities, it's about $40 US to get additional copies sent, or if you do it after June 20th. The other thing to consider is, are you declining the credit? If that's the situation, come and talk to me and I will walk you through a few things to consider. This could be because you're writing bio, but you're planning to go into something where your major is bio. So you would actually decline the credit, because that means you're still going to take the first year course instead of just having it show up as a pass. Honestly, there's reasons for why you'd want to do that. But if you're in any doubt about that, come and talk to me and we'll try to work through it. Now, I do have a couple of test day videos that are available on YouTube for you to watch if you want to. They basically show you what your experience will be on test day. Notice there are 2 different links. One of them is for what's called fully digital. That's for courses like, for example, English, where it's multiple choice and typed in like essays and stuff like that. If you're doing a course like AP Chemistry, where you have to write out stuff for formulas and equations and stuff, you're doing a hybrid exam, where the first part is multiple choice on the Chromebook. The second part is the short answer questions shown to you on the Chromebook, but you're writing your answers in a paper booklet. So you might be writing one or both of these types of exams, depending on which exams you're writing. Those 2 QR codes take you to the different videos. As always, if you do have any questions about anything to do with the AP exams, please send me a message or come see me in room 110, and I'd be happy to help you out with any sort of problems, questions, concerns, anything like that that you have. I wish you the best of luck in all of your AP exams. Bye-bye.